Hi everybody, this is Julissa. Thank you so much for coming back to my channel. And if you're watching this in the if listening to this in the podcast, thank you so much for being here. I needed to come here real quick. It's early morning, October 12th, 2023. So I'm here to speak about the situation in Israel. I just, you know, looking at all the images, and I understand that a lot of people, they're not ready to sit and watch the news and to kind of know what's happening. But please let us never forget that Jesus, the disciples asked Jesus, when will these things happen, Lord, before you're returning back, to us in the flesh? And he said, you're gonna hear this, you're gonna see the other. Like, the only way that we're gonna know that things are happening, that the signs are happening, if is by looking at the news. And I understand that a lot of people, they don't want to look at the news, but don't be ignorant to know what is happening, specifically with the line of Israel, the way the Bible speaks about Israel, the way God speaks about Israel in the Bible. That's what I meant to say. We have to know what's happening. And not only that, we have to pray. Like, I just saw a lady, I'm not saying for you to indulge in the news, right? You have to kind of get a briefing of what is happening, and then take action. You got to pray about it. You got to get yourself right, because the minute you see that Israel is being attacked, like I said, by according to things that we read in the Bible, that must happen before Jesus return, then you need to get right with God, right? You need to get right. You need to share the gospel of Jesus Christ. There's a whole world out there who's looking at this. Perhaps they don't even know, like, if this is all prophetic. They probably don't even know what prophetic means. They don't even know what the last days means and all of that stuff. So what I was saying, I just saw a lady who, I'm looking at her, and she's walking down the streets in Israel, and the area that was attacked, right? And she's just crying. She kind of like pushes the press away, kind of like, get away from me, like, and she keeps saying, God is gonna save us, God is gonna take care of us. And she has two young children, not with her, but they were like recording her, but she has two young children. That's what she told the reporters. And I'm thinking to myself, man, this lady's life completely changed overnight. Like, last Tuesday, last Wednesday, last week, they were not even thinking about anything like this would have been happening, right? And they were probably just going on with their life, probably welcoming the fall season, just doing regular things. And now, their house is in ruins. They have to go to bomb shelters. They hear sirens. There is an uncertainty for what is to come. Everything has been shut down. And I'm thinking, when we do take life for granted, we do take the little things in life for granted. And be thankful, guys. Wherever you're listening this, or watching on YouTube, let us be thankful that we can lay our head to rest and not worry about when the next silence is gonna happen, when we're gonna hear like rocket ships, and like uh, hearing like cities nearby being bombed and being scared. I cannot imagine the trauma that the children are going through in Israel at this moment. And the same thing with, like, the families, just regular people dealing with this sudden change of routine, sudden change of life. And now just kind of like being waiting upon, like, oh man, when is this gonna end? Like, they're sending so much aid right now to Israel. They're getting them ready. And Israel started war on Saturday unexpectedly. You need to put that, like, it started like it was just a regular city. It was just a regular country. Like, it was just a regular Saturday for them until this happened. And now it's a complete 180. It's it's crazy how life can change so sudden for all of us. We are so vulnerable to anything. We are so vulnerable to anything. We want to control every aspect of our life. We want to control. We want to plan ahead and say, by October I better be doing this. And nothing wrong with like looking forward the future and planning things out. But I'm saying at the end of the day, we really don't know what can happen. So why take salvation in Jesus Christ so lightly that we put it off and we can be like, oh, I have time for that. I'm too young for that. I'm gonna enjoy my life and then I'll accept Christ as my Lord and Savior. Then I'll decide to do things and you know and get right with God and things like that. Um, and what makes you think that you're not gonna have joy when you come to Christ? Is the best joy in life, in the universe. It's the best joy. The peace that surpasses all understanding, and hope for the future, knowing that whatever happens on this earth, we're gonna go to heaven to be with our Lord, who went to prepare a place for us, like He says in the Bible. So I'm just coming here to talk about things like this, right? How life can be so unpredictable, and how we take for granted the little things, right? Just being able to go to church, being able to get in your car and go anywhere, right? You can get in your car and be like, I don't want to be home at this hour. Like, you can be, you know, some days I'm like, I'm not going out after work or something, and then I'm like, I just want to go for a drive. I just want to go around and see people, or I just want to go to this park and like, just relax for a moment and things like that. Let us be thankful that we have that possibility, that we have the freedom. That, like I said, right now we're gonna lay our head, and we're not gonna hear sirens, and anything can happen. That's the whole point of this episode that I'm making right now, this video, to let you know that anything can happen. I actually had a dream last night, and it was so surreal. Once again, I see myself in this chaotic city and looking for a hotel and planning a trip and saying, let's take the Amtrak. I remember saying we're gonna take the Amtrak instead of flying in, because there were so many people just going away, trying to get away from whatever I was, right? And again, I this is a very recurring dream for me, and I see myself in this area that I'm looking for Amtrak, right, to get on the right train, but I'm like, I've been here before, and it's so weird because you sometimes I dream about the city that I'm in my dream, that I see often, but I don't think I've physically ever been there. It's almost like I see it in my dreams like all the time, but I don't think I ever been there. But anyways, it was just weird for me to see how many people were just also trying to get on the next plane, on the next Amtrak, right, on the next train, trying to get away from the chaotic of whatever city it was that I had a dream on. And you know it was just so crazy. But if you think about it, that was just my dream. If you think about it, there are people right now trying to leave Israel, trying to leave the Middle East, right? Trying to leave and planning, changing plans, canceling things that they have planned out, and praying for, trying to get their family members over here until the whole situation settles. And who knows how long that's gonna be? Who knows like how long that's gonna last? They're saying there has been a threat that was given for this Friday. I think it's Friday, right? Friday the 13th, right? Tomorrow. um like I said, it's early Thursday right now. I can believe it. The days are flying by. But some type of threat was given to Israel by the terrorist group that attacked them already. And they're saying, that it's going to be one of the worst um, things that they're planning to do, right? And these people are going full force against Israel. And is if you read the Bible and you see what God says in His Word about Israel, and these people are just completely coming against Israel like that, you need to like it doesn't take long to put two and two together and be like, wait a second, the Bible speaks about Israel, right? God's word speaks about Israel. These people are threatening Israel and saying how they're gonna do all these things, specifically tomorrow, right? The 13th, Friday the 13th. Like anything can happen, guys. And just because, like I say in a lot of my content, I say, just because you don't see it outside of your window, it doesn't mean that somehow you're gonna be affected, right? Um, because one thing can trigger the next, right? I believe it was last night that the president and vice president were speaking about their action that the U.S. is going to take against this whole thing that's happening in Israel. And we gotta pray, and most importantly, guys, we have to get right with God. We need to fast and pray and know that Jesus is coming back soon, and we are living Bible prophecy right now. We are definitely living Bible prophecy, and everything that's happening, and hopefully, I remember, like, I don't know, like early in 2000s, um, I remember like one news will be like, oh, there has been a shooting, right? Remember that time, that there was like shooting often at schools and things like that. It was like we will hear one that happened, and then that will trigger or inspire other like bad people to kind of like do another one, right? And then it became like so often, like every other day it was like another school shooting. And this is what I'm talking about. Everything that we see, and people are marching, like people were marching in New York City against everything that's happening in Israel. And like I said, a lot of the times we take it for granted just because, well, we don't see nothing is happening where I live. It's very quiet, this and that. We really don't know how your life can change. I guarantee you guys, people living in Israel, people that were at that festival, that a lot of young people lost their life. A lot of people were taking hostages, right? That's the thing that they're trying to do, trying to kill the hostages live on television. Pray for everybody who is being held hostage right now in Israel, taken away by that terrorist group that's attacking them. These young people were at a music festival, right? And they never expected anything like this that could happen. Maybe their parents pay for their tickets to go all the way to Israel. Maybe they were like, have fun, or maybe they saw their daughter or son like save money just to get over there and have this vacation. And look what happened, right? Anything, life is so unpredictable. Anything can happen, and that's what I'm saying. Like, you just never know, right? So this they lost their life. There is a threat. They lost their freedom. I guess a lot of the hostages, you can say, there is a threat. It's, they're threatening the Israel, saying to get ready for what's gonna happen tomorrow, the 13th. I think it's a specific day. Besides the fact here everybody says, oh, it's Friday the 13th, is this or the other. That day over there means something else that when we here in the US means. So they're planning that. So let's get into fasting and prayer, and let's just pray for everybody affected by this. What I was saying was that I guarantee you that last Tuesday, last Wednesday, last week, none of this was probably expected. Even though, this is something that I question, because they attacked them once again in the anniversary of what happened in 1975, I believe. So, like, I'm not saying they put their guard down, but I'm saying, like, you know, repeat offenders, right? People, when they do bad things, they tend to repeat it, right? And you can never put your guard down. Sometimes you want to, move on and things like that, but you need to be aware, specifically around anniversary dates, right? So that's what happened. This Saturday apparently was the anniversary of the first attack that happened against Israel by the same group, right? So they're planning something for tomorrow, like I said. We gotta pray. Social media, they might try to use social media to kind of broadcast whatever evil thing they're planning on doing. Like they were doing, like, I don't know, early in 2013, when they were doing like all this crazy stuff that it was shown on television. um the persecution, right? Killing people against their faith because of what they believe, right? So let's just keep that in back of our head, but like, everything that I say about the news and watching the news and being informed, right? It's not for you to be like, oh my goodness, like sit next to the television all day and be like, oh my goodness, what's gonna happen in Israel? Like, I'm just gonna sit here. I don't wanna work. I don't wanna do anything. I don't wanna go do nothing. I'm just gonna watch what's happening. Like, God already said things like this were going to happen. Okay, so when you see something like this that is happening, you need to understand, like I said, you get prepared, you pray about it, you pray for the people affected, whatever it is that you have to do. You want to go for a walk, you're gonna, check on your family, things like that. But doesn't mean for you to just put your life on hold, right? Be informed, because even the disciples said, when will we know that this thing work? When will we know that you're coming? What are the signs that we're going to see before your return? Um, we cannot know what's happening in Israel if we don't turn on the news, right? It would be so ignorant to see, like, oh wow, Jesus is back already. I didn't realize. Oh, well, there were signs. Of course, I'm being, obviously that's not how we're gonna know that Jesus came back, right? We're gonna hear the trumpet. We're gonna see the sign on the. We're gonna see the sign of the Son of Man. But all these things are gonna happen, right? So anyways, guys, before I make this video too long, thank you so much for coming back to my channel, listening in the podcast. Please subscribe and share, and let's get ourselves together in prayer against everything that's happening right now and the situations happening right now in Israel and everybody affected by it. I'll be back and make you guys another video probably tomorrow and see what's gonna happen. Thank you so much for being here. God bless. Hi everybody, this is Julissa. I'm here to invite you to my podcast, Julissadesigns, and it can be found on Anchor, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. You can join me every day as I make episodes of the latest news, real life stories, and I also share my favorite Bible verse. Hope to see you then. God bless. Everybody, this is Julissa. Thank you so much for coming to my YouTube channel. Please don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And if you want to know more about me, you can always visit www.julissadesigns.com. Have a great day, everybody. God bless.